Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Margaret Oduwole and I'm a product manager and a YouTuber based in Lagos, Nigeria. If you're new here, thank you so much for stopping by. Please don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to share. If you're a returning subscriber, I just want to say thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you for your support. Thank you for coming again. I'm just so grateful. Thank you. So let's get right into it. Today, I'm going to be talking about some of the financial instruments I'm currently investing in. If you've not seen my last video, please check it out. I've linked it up here, right? In that video, I spoke about my financial background and my financial history, right? And today's video is basically just a continuation of that video. So I thought, to just come and share with my viewers, share with my subscribers. I thought to come and share some of the financial instruments I'm currently investing in. I thought to come and share with you all, right? Just a brief summary of the last video, right? The last video that I posted, the one that I have just linked up here. We're able to establish the importance of, getting your money to work for you. We established the importance of investment. First things first, I think before you go into any financial journey or any investment journey, first of all, you have to understand your risk appetite. I think that's really, really important. So there's this rule of thumb, right? This rule of thumb. I don't know who invented it, but I heard it and I found it interesting, and I sort of just, I'm currently utilizing it, right? And that rule of thumb states that whatever your age is, subtract 100 from whatever your current age is, right? Or maybe age range, right? So I'm currently in my 20s. When I subtract 100 from 20, right, that leaves me with 80. Based off that rule of thumb, they are saying 80% of whatever you own should be in the stock market, right? Or 80% of your income, 80% of your money should be in the stock market. Why? Because you're still young, so time is in your advantage, right? When you're still young, that means that you still have a longer duration. You still have quite at least 20, 30, 40 years to still work, right, before you retire. You still have more time, as opposed to maybe someone that is already in their 50s, someone that is already in their 60s. They don't have that luxury of time anymore. So whatever they own, they have to guard it jealously, right? Because at the end of the day, that money is what is supposed to sustain them, right, until they leave this earth. So that being said, you have to understand yourself, and you have to know your risk appetite. Do you have a high risk appetite? Do you have a medium risk appetite, or do you have a low risk appetite? And if you don't know, right, the way you can know is by just doing that calculation that I spoke about. Just subtract 100 from whatever your age is, and that will sort of help you, right? So that being said, right, there are certain financial instruments I'm currently investing in. One of them is the stock market, right? The stock market is just a way for you to invest your money in companies that are profitable, right? These companies have done their initial public offering. These companies have listed on, maybe for instance, the Nigerian Stock Exchange. These companies are already listed there, right? Or the New York Stock Exchange. These companies are already listed there, and you are able to invest your money there. So as those companies grow, right, as they become larger and all that, your money is also going to increase. But on the flip side, as those companies, if for one reason or the other those companies go down, that means your money is going down as well, unfortunately. So stock is actually a high risk investment, is a high risk investment type. So I think that's something that is worthy of note. However, it's high risk, high reward, right? And then when it comes to the stock market as well, there are two types of stocks, right, that you can invest in. You can invest in the individual stocks, or you can invest in the index funds, right? So let me sort of just explain what that means. So imagine you have a basket of fruits. That basket contains oranges, it contains apples, avocados, and whatever, right? A basket like that is what you refer to as index funds, because that means today, if I want to invest 100 naira, right, I'm putting my 100 naira, that 100 naira, I'm putting it in that basket. That means I'm investing in all the fruits in that basket. The fruits in that basket, right, those fruits, they signify companies, right? So that's what it means to invest in the index funds. And then you have individual stocks where I don't want to invest in avocado and apple and orange, banana. No, I just want to invest in only banana, right? Now that's investing in individual stocks. Now, even in that category, there's still high risk and low risk. As you can imagine, when you're investing in only one only one stock, that's high risk. It's high risk, high reward, right? Because you're not diversifying, you're just investing in only one stock. But if you're investing in index funds, that means you are diversifying, you're spreading your money across different companies, right? And then what that also now means for you is that, you know, the risk is medium and the reward is not as high as well as investing in individual stocks. So that's just basically how that works, right? Of course, your individual stocks, whatever company that you like to invest in Nigeria, there's MTN, there are banks are listed on the Nigerian Stock Exchange. Some telecommunication companies like MTN, Airtel, they are listed there. Some agro businesses are listed there as well. Of course, you have to like do your research and you have to find what you like to invest in, right? Sometimes, like a lot of all these brands that we patronize, Dangote, all these guys, you know, it's not bad to also own a portion of those companies, right? So at least that's the edge, that's the benefits that investing in individual stocks give you. You're able to own a portion of all these companies, right? But please, another rule of thumb, please never invest in anything that you do not understand, right? You have to have a solid understanding of any company before going to put your money there, because at the end of the day, it's your money. You don't want to gamble blindly. You want to be certain, you want to be sure to a considerable extent that you're investing in a company that has a track record of excellence, right? So for the index funds, right, there are different types of index funds. You have the S&P 500, you have VTI, right? The S&P 500 is basically the list of the 500 biggest companies in America, right? So if you want to invest in those 500 biggest companies in America, you can, you know, buy a VOO share, right? Or you can buy an SPY share, right? Those are two companies that you can invest in that track the S&P 500. That's, like I explained, the biggest companies, the 500 biggest companies in America. The difference between two of them is really just the price, I think. Aside the price, both of them, the performance of both of them are like almost the same, right? They're literally the same. There's not much of a difference between the performance. The difference is really just with the price. SPY is slightly more expensive than VOO, right? And then another type of index fund as well is the VTI. So VTI doesn't track only the 500 biggest companies. That one, it tracks the biggest companies, it tracks the mid-sized companies, it tracks the small companies as well. So, you know, that one is like a larger portfolio, whilst S&P 500 is just strictly for the 500 largest companies in America, right? So yeah, you know, we've just spoken about stocks and we already established the fact that stocks is high risk. Now let's move to the medium risk investment types. That's like real estate, right? Personally, I invest in the US real estate and I use RiseVest to do that. So basically, I'm putting my money in income generating rental properties in America. Interest rate on that is about 14% and the interest accrues on a monthly basis. So every month, right, they usually will pay interest to my account or to my wallet. Now, we are now going to the low risk investment type. And for the low risk investment type, there are two kind of investments that there are two types of low risk investments that I do. I do the Stanbic money market fund and I also do fixed income. So let's start with the Stanbic money market fund. The Stanbic money market fund is, you know, a very good one. Right now, a lot of people are paying more attention to it because it's currently doing about 19%, over 19% interest rates. Like, based off word on the streets, right, we're hearing that this is the best that it has done in like the past maybe 5-6 years. This is the highest that it has done. So because of that, you know, there's a bit more clout, more people are trying to invest in it. So how does this one work? Basically, the Stanbic money market fund is a low risk investment type that invests in things like commercial papers, treasury bills and the likes, right? Another reason why this is classified as a low risk investment type is your principal amount is like, you are guaranteed that nothing is going to happen to your principal amount. That is like that first money that you put there, nothing is going to happen to it. You are guaranteed that, you know, that money is always, come rain, come sunshine, that money is not going to go down. It's always going to be secured, right? Aside the fact that your principal amount is secured, then you also now have the added benefits of the interest that is going to be accruing, and it's accrued daily, right? And it's compounding. So, you know, it's really a very, very fantastic investment type. So if you look at yourself and you feel like, oh, you don't really have you don't have what it takes to lose money, right? One thing that you're not left out. That doesn't mean you can't invest. You can try out the Stanbic money market fund. At least you know that you're guaranteed. Whatever happens, your principal amount is guaranteed, and then you also now have the added benefits of getting interest on top of that. So that's something you might want to explore if you feel like you have a low risk appetite. And then the next thing that I also do, the other low risk investment that I do, is fixed income, right? So fixed income, how this one works is, from the very first day that you're putting your money into the account, right, you already know how much interest you're expecting. And then just like the money market fund as well, this one, you're also assured that nothing is going to happen to your principal amount. It's always going to be safe and secure. I use RiseVest for it as well, and currently that one is doing 10% interest rates, which is really, I guess it's not bad really, right? And then what usually happens with this one is there's a certain duration, maybe 3 months, 6 months, 1 year. You can decide on how long you want to invest that money for. Now during that duration, you are not going to be allowed to withdraw that money. It has to be locked there, right? And then when the investment matures, right, they pay your principal amount along with the interest that's already been accrued on that principal amount. So that's just how it works. So personally, right, these financial instruments that I've mentioned are the investments that I'm currently making, right? I'm currently investing in the stock market. I'm currently doing US real estate. I'm currently doing, the Stanbic money market fund, and I'm doing the fixed income as well. So I sort of spread my money across all these financial instruments. However, the bulk of my money is really in the stock market for now, because I feel like, I think my risk appetite is a bit high, sha. So yeah, I just thought to share this with you guys, right? So if you have any questions, you have any comments or any contributions, please don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section. I'll be looking forward to it, and of course if I can answer, I would not hesitate to do that. Okay, so that's it for me today. Don't forget to like, don't forget to share, and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.